welcome back. It's Wargame HQ, and we're looking at Horse and Musket 2, the Sport of Kings. Just kidding. We're actually looking at Horse and Musket 4, Tides of Revolution, which, as you can tell from the title, is already two better than number 2, Sport of Kings. No, this is actually a pretty great release from Hollandspiel because it introduces some new shenanigans into the system. So we got a redesigned rulebook, we got redesigned counters, we got a new look and feel for the player aid card. So that's going to be exciting. So let's dive in and take a look. I already kind of pulled this open so that we don't have the usual shrink rip. I was, what do you call it? Oh, excited about getting this. So let's take a little peek here inside the box. Of course, we've got these, forget it. Don't want to talk about it, cards, we got it. Really, what we do want to look at, however, are these rad new counters. And we're going to zoom in on these rad new counters. Let's look. So dramatic. Okay, so the new counters, as you can tell, have some new features on them. One, they are still the gorgeous laser cut, get you high when you open the package Hollandspiel Blue Panther partnership. But you now have a couple of new features. So first new feature, you have a color indicator code. So this one says DB for dark blue, I assume. And then you have a unit code on here. So this has a 4. I think that's what that is. I don't know. Infantry veteran, maybe? I don't know. It's got a unit code on it. And then on the back, you've got the victory points that are awarded. And of course, the same color coding from the front. So is it a huge change from the last one? I mean, I guess a little bit. Let's take a look, actually. So here is what the other counters look like, and lo and behold, we have some blue, dark blue counters here, and you can kind of see them side by side. So there you go. I mean, it's not, let's put it this way. What Hollandspiel has done is phenomenal for folks who are in any way have a visual impairment. And that's what we want to see. That's awesome. I love the fact that they're updating to make sure that everyone can enjoy wargaming. I wrote an article about that previously. I'll put a link in the description. But in terms of folks who already have it, who don't have a visual impairment, it's some quality of life updates. It's nothing that's going to completely rock your world. But again, you know, you may want to do that. I've got an article up about how you can upgrade if you own all the stuff. And in this version, we are looking at the Tides of Revolution, namely the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the War of the First Coalition. And so we have our module-specific rules, which come on this nice, I guess this is called gatefold sheet here. This is a little heavier cardstock, but so notice what used to come in the middle of the player aid cards, which were these special scenario rules and nationality rules. Those are now included on the back of the module-specific rulebook. And so all the same information is there. I actually like it where it is now better than having it inside, so that you have to keep opening it up and taking a look to see exactly what needs to be done. So I like this better. But again, it's just, you know, seasoned to taste, I guess. The redesigned player aid card here. So we have, again, another gatefold, which I thought was a tri-fold. I thought that was one of those ones where like everything kind of opens out from the middle, like blah, but it is not. And so let's zoom back out here and take it all in. Okay, so here's that other module specific rule book with the special scenario rules on the back versus, again, in the middle. But let's take a look here. So this is the new player aid card. The front gives you everything you need to know about terrain. I love the new terrain chart. That's very cool. I like the style of it and everything else. What a great job. Really like the actions table as well. I like having that easily accessible on the front. Optional rules are in the middle, along with DRMs and some kind of handy reminders for withdrawals. And then on the back, you have the small battle chart, grand battle chart, and the battles chart. So it must be the Goldilocks battles that are just right. We have a new designed core rule book, which has this clever little period and era appropriate version on it. Kind of reminds me of the rules layout on the cover for the Labatai series, the Reglis. Ruined that to Morgaine, I apologize. But we have inside a new layout, more graphics for exactly how to interpret the new charts, also for how to look at the new units. We have more examples of play. All of the rules have been written with clarity in mind. Optional rules, all of the optional rules are now integrated into the rule book, so you have a chance to see those, and these have been tweaked as well, okay? So a little bit different there. Now this rule book, if all you want to do is take advantage of the new rule book, this is going to be posted online at Board Game Geek according to Hollandspiel, so you'll be able to take advantage of that. And then you have a nice illustrated example of play in the back. Again, all phenomenal additions. So there are some changes to the rules layout, but again, this is going to be free. So for folks who already have this series and don't want to get the 4th volume for some reason, fine. Know that you can get the rule book online. Now let's take a look at the scenario booklet. So this has changed as well. And so we have a great selection of scenarios here. Some of these I have no idea exactly what they are. So I'm excited to dive in. Let's take a look at this scenario listing here. There we go. There's the scenario listing. So again, just a massive number of scenarios. And for folks who aren't familiar with this game series, I mean, there are got to be close to 150 scenarios at this point. For this series. It is a ton of game in the box. There are currently 4 volumes, 2 add-on kind of like scenario packs. There's an additional terrain thing you can buy if you really want all the terrain pieces to set up fully all of the scenarios. Again, that's not required, but you can do that. And then each game has a great selection of scenarios that give what I like versus, say, you know, despite the fact that this looks an awful lot like the Commands and Colors games, it doesn't play like them, number one. And number two, I feel like the scenarios themselves allow the board to be used in more creative ways. And so there is a little bit of a mind shift that you have to do when you play it so that you are recognizing that difference. So let's go in and take a look inside the scenario book. I'm not going to go through every single scenario. You've had plenty of time to take a look while I was speaking, but so let's just go to Utah Springs. And so Utah Springs has, as you notice now, the scenario layout is on the actual page. So you're not looking through lists any longer of what you want to see to get your game laid out. Instead, you are now in a position where you're able to set it up just based on the graphics. All your special rules are contained here. I love this new scenario layout. This is exactly what I expected when I opened Volume 1 and didn't see it, but guess what? It's here now. I love it. Okay? Again, if you really love this and you want to have a conversation with Hollandspiel about the upgrade, I've got an article on the website. I've linked it in the description below. Be sure to check that out. It's going to walk you through what you need to do to get upgraded components. And, you know, we're kind of waiting until October for that, so don't start blowing up their email just yet over there. We want to make sure that there's time for the next product to come out in this series, which is going to be another battle pack, which is fantastic. You know, I just talked about how many scenarios there are, but as you can see, with the way the scenarios are laid out, you know, here's one for Würzburg, and we've got a kind of diagonal layout. which I really like because you're getting to take advantage of the board in different ways. When you think about this one, you know, again, back to Utah Springs, this one is using the length of the board. When you think about, you know, the way that scenarios must be laid out by practice inside of a game like Commands and Colors, you know, yes, terrain helps shape that battlefield into different configurations a little bit, but the reality is you're still playing with a deck of cards that demand that to give yourself the best possible chances, you have units all over the place. And that's not what's going on here at all. You actually get to spend your command points. You get to be the one capitalizing on your leader's tactics and their capacity for success on the battlefield. So there you have it. Horse and Musket, Volume 4, Tides of Revolution. We've talked about some of the changes. We took a look at the comparison of some sheets, counter sheets together. We looked at the new scenario book. We looked at the new rule book, the new player aid cards. Really, all in all, this looks fantastic. I'm excited to get this one to the table, although I will say it is behind some things, but now that I've got it open, I'm a little itching to do this one, especially because I really don't know basically anything about War of the First Coalition, and so, you know, definitely curious to check out what this, you know, this newbie from Corsica has to say about warfare. So this should be good. So that's it for Wargame HQ. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to watch, and leave some comments below if you have any questions or anything else. But this looks, as usual for Hollandspiel, a fantastic product. Thanks so much.